The New York Yankees have some very, very interesting prospects in their farm system, and they got some of these guys who are getting really, really close to the big leagues and could maybe even make an impact on the big league team, especially the guys at the top end of their system, Anthony Volpe, Oswald Peraza, et cetera, et cetera. They could be making impacts in 2023. So, what better time to talk about some of your Yankees prospects than right now? So, we're going to talk about them right here. Here's your prospect pipeline on the New York Yankees top prospects. My name is Derek. I'm here with Kassem, and let's get straight into it. So, their top 10 prospects, I'll just kind of list off the list I have, and then we'll kind of get into the deeper discussions on a couple of these guys that we really want to pinpoint. For me, the Yankees top 10 prospects, I have Anthony Volpe, Jason Dominguez, Oswald Peraza, Austin Wells, Everson Pereira, Spencer Jones, Trace Sweeney, Clayton Beater, Will Warren, and Yoendrys Gomez. That is my top 10 prospects. However, we're going to focus on more of the kind of top end, especially the guys who could be making, could be making contributions to the Yankees this year. And let's start with Oswald Peraza because, yes, he is the second shortstop in the system behind Volpe, but he is a little bit closer to the big leagues. We saw him in the ALCS last year, got a start in the ALCS. What are your thoughts on Oswald Peraza, just about him, about can he grab the shortstop spot, that kind of stuff?
Oswald Peraza, from what he showed last year, he's great defensively. He's still a young player, has a lot to learn. He is going to compete for the shortstop, him and Anthony Volpe and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, but Peraza could have the upper hand only because of his defense. He still has to work on the bat, but like I said, I'm not going to judge him because he really, to be honest, he hasn't had a lot of playing time. But he is in it to compete, and if he proves that he's good with the bat, great defensively, he has a good spring training, he could come out as the starting shortstop, and he's exciting. Hopefully, he pans out. I mean, a lot of Yankee prospects lately hasn't been panning out, so we're hoping that with this prospect line, we're hoping that guys like Peraza and Volpe pan out for them for this year and for going forward for the near future.
Yeah, and having these guys that that being cost controlled is huge because that you don't have to pay everyone. You don't have to pay this guy 20 million, that guy 20 million. You can pay these guys less than $1 million, and it frees up money to spend elsewhere. With a guy like Peraza, he was good in his kind of short stint in the big leagues. Played 18 games last year, just over 50 plate appearances, hit 308 with the 833 OPS. So he was solid, but the defense is, I wouldn't say it's his carrying tool because there is definitely he seemingly has most of the tools. It's just the defense is definitely his best tool. And if you're looking at the Yankees right now, you compare him to a guy like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa for the Yankees team, and you're going, well, Kiner-Falefa, he's good defensively, runs well, but doesn't bring a lot with the bat. And if you're looking at a guy like Peraza, maybe it's like, well, he's also good defensively. He can run a little bit, and there's more upside there at the bat. That could be a way the Yankees go. However, they have another shortstop who is seemingly could potentially make the MLB roster. Maybe it's opening day, maybe at some point down the road. Anthony Volpe, top prospect for the Yankees, definitely top 10 prospect in baseball. Some even have him top 5 prospect in baseball. So we talk about Anthony Volpe, and yes, he's a little bit behind Peraza in terms of development. He finished last year in AAA with 22 games in AAA. So it would seemingly start the year in AAA, but still hopefully a very bright future ahead of him. And how do you assess kind of his situation heading into 2023?
Um, for Anthony Volpe, I mean, everybody's talking about him. For me, all I can say is that there's not enough seasoning for him in AAA. So my gut feeling, because maybe the control process, the control of service time and everything, I got a feeling he is going to start in AAA. Whether he has a good spring or not, it could change. Nobody knows. But for me, service time really matters in MLB. So I think he's going to start off in AAA, and then he'll get called up probably May or June just to see how well Peraza does, how Isaiah Kiner-Falefa does. So the promotion will come probably at a right time, maybe May, maybe June, or he maybe comes out of the gates and maybe wins the starting job. I mean, a lot of Yankee fans are hoping for it, but look, I haven't seen him, just like Peraza. I haven't seen these guys that much, even though Peraza played last year. For me, at the end of the day, I just believe that a push come to shove, I do believe Connor Falefa will win the starting job, but Peraza is like slight ahead of Volpe. He's very ahead of him, and I don't know. The ceiling's high, so I'm not gonna. Like I said, I'm not that big on prospects, but if Volpe, if they're saying what they're saying, yeah, hopefully he can win the job out of the gate. But I just believe I think more seasoning in AAA will kind of help him. But time will tell. Time will tell everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. I think
Yeah.
too. We're looking at this. There is really three guys fighting for the job. Maybe even four if you consider maybe Oswaldo Cabrera goes off in spring
Mhm.
training, and they're like, you know what? Maybe he plays shortstop. Although I would think he'd be more likely to stick in left field every day instead of shortstop. So really, you take him out. You really have that three of kind of Falefa being kind of the veteran guy of the group. Then you have Peraza and Volpe, who are two guys who have a very high ceiling. I think if I'm looking at it from the Yankees perspective, I would lean Peraza as of today, just in terms of I think his defense is good enough to where you'll get more than good enough defense at short, and the upside with the bat is there much more than kind of Falefa. Whereas I think Volpe still, like you said, probably needs a little bit more seasoning in AAA. He only played 22 games there, whereas Peraza, he's gotten his AAA experience in, right? In 2022, he played 99 games in AAA. So you could probably look at Volpe and say, give him about a couple months in AAA, see how he does, and if he's playing well, then you maybe look to bring him up. But there is a little bit of a log jam too in the Yankees infield because Gleyber Torres is at second base. You have that mix of Peraza kind of left shortstop, and you add Volpe into that. You're getting a little bit of a log jam for really two spots because maybe Volpe moves to second because and this isn't a knock on Volpe's defense. This is more of a Peraza's defense is that good where it might move Volpe to second just because Peraza's defense is better than his.
Mhm.
Um, which it's like I said, not a knock on Volpe's defense at all. I don't think his defense is bad at all. I just think it's that Peraza's defense is that good. Um, but there could be a little bit of a logjam, you get to midseason, which is never a bad problem to have either, right? Especially too if injuries happen, which you never want to see them happen, but they can happen. So if you're the Yankees, it's not a bad problem to have at all. And it could also be trade capital too. You never know.
Yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it. I mean, to be honest with you, I one could be sent down to the minors, or all three of them could make the opening day roster. I think that's why, like this year, spring training for me, I wasn't a spring training guy. I just just for me, spring training when it starts, just get out healthy and we're good. But no, with the Yankees this year, there's position battles. That shortstop is key. That left field is key. So that's why me watching spring training games this year, watching the position battles at shortstop and left field, it's gonna be interesting. So I gotta keep my eye out, see how they do, see how they look, see who performs. I mean, it's 6 weeks of spring training, and it's not gonna really detail like who does like it shouldn't carry into the season because maybe in the season maybe they have a good spring training and then during the season they struggle. So that's the way I'm looking at it, but it's key. So there's a lot of position battles going on.
Yeah, 100%. And, yeah, some guys do well in spring training, they show on the big leagues. Some guys struggle in spring training and they do really well.
Mhm.
So sometimes you get kind of a false kind of sense of the player off spring training, but it is always nice when you see them do well in spring training. It feels like a good start to the year, hopefully. One last guy we want to talk about, at least I want to talk about for sure, is Austin Wells, catcher in the Yankee system. Last year, he played in A ball, low A, high A, and double A. Played most of his games at Double A, played 55 games there. And the reason I find him very intriguing, in the 2018 draft, the Yankees took him in the 35th round out of high school. He then says, I'm going to go to college, goes to the University of Arizona. And the 2020 draft comes around, the Yankees take him again, this time in the first round. So this is a guy who the Yankees, they liked him out of high school and they liked him out of college. They seemingly like him very much now. Definitely more of an offensive catcher. Their questions are not of whether he can stay behind the plate, obviously. There's already been questions. Maybe he moves to left field because he probably can play left field. Good lefty bat, though. Swing is nice. And they do have a guy in Jose Trevino who's like very good defensively at the catcher spot right now, which was a huge difference maker compared to having Gary Sanchez behind the plate in terms of defense. And Trevino was the best defensive catcher in the big leagues. So the reason I bring up Austin Wells is, probably maybe starts this year in Double A, maybe in Triple A. We'll see how he does in spring training or in whatever. But he's a guy who I feel like this year's almost a figure it out year for him. Can he stay behind the plate? One, because that's a big thing. And two, if you're not staying behind the plate, how much can that bat carry him? I think that's the big question mark for him.
Yeah, I mean, I heard about Austin Wells. Last time I heard about him is that he might have to consider a different position. That might be first base. I don't know where left. I don't know if you heard left field. That's fine,
Yeah,
but
I've heard left field. I've heard first
yeah,
base.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
hearing first base. He's a high touted prospect. I'm hoping he can come up. If he has a good bat, that's good because Trevino's not known for his bat. Kyle Higashioka's not known for nothing. I mean, that's the honest truth. And the other catching prospect they got, Brent Rovert. He's always hurt. Now he has a finger issue. I just, I don't know, the catchers that they have, I'm not too impressed with them at all. The last catcher that I was happy about when we had him was actually Jorge Posada, and that's about it. Other besides that, I'm not too excited about any of these guys. But if Austin Wells could improve defensively, if he does start off hopefully in AAA this year, that'll be great. He could work his way up, and I heard about his bat. His bat is pretty good. I think he just has to work defensively, and I don't know. Hopefully, a year from now, he can be called up to the majors, fighting for a catching spot. I have high hopes on him, but just for right now, there's no room for him.
Yeah.
Between three, it's a total of four catchers, and three of them could be fighting for a spot. But right now, it's Trevino and Higashioka, and
Yeah.
the other one, it's all a matter of if he's healthy and what he shows on the playing field.
Yeah, 100. I think Wells is probably don't see him in 23, but 24 could be a big part because I think 23, like I said, I think it's a figure it out year. Can you stick behind the plate? This is the year I think they're going to have to make that decision after 2023. It's, do we like him at catcher? If the answer is yes, and they like him, then you could look at him in 24. I think it's a big name to bring up. Any final thoughts here about the Yankees in general, these position battles, or anything else you want to cover before we wrap this thing up?
I'm looking forward to Oswaldo Cabrera having a full year with the Yankees, especially him moving all over the outfield and the infield. His versatility is going to be big for the Yankees. Do I hope he wins the starting job? Yes. In left field, of course. Would I love to see him start at shortstop? Yes, of course, but that's not going to happen. It's just at the end of the day, I think they're just going to bring him off the bench and, rest everybody, whoever needs rest, and they play him. But his bat is good. I love it. I love his speed. He could work in the outfield. I mean, with experience, everything will come in handy with him. I think he could become a very good outfielder. Just a matter of the opportunities he can get. But still, there is a logjam still, and hopefully there's room for him where he can play. But he is going to play, and I'm really excited about him. Just like I'm excited about Volpe and Peraza. Volpe's the star. Everybody's saying that. I have an eye test, and until I see something, I'll judge him after that. Till then, I have to wait.
Yeah, you gotta wait and see. But definitely seemingly bright futures ahead for the Yankees. And if you're a Yankees fan, you're hoping that they do kind of pan out and they turn into, not all of them are going to turn into stars, but you still hope they can turn into very good MLB pieces for your team. And for the Yankees, it's one thing, they can infuse some of this young talent and get some extra bursts from this young talent to add to this veteran core they have. The Yankees could, maybe they even surprise some people and go, and maybe they can make that leap, get over that Houston hump in the postseason. It'll be very interesting to see. So make sure to check out all our stuff in the description. We'll have all our links in the description. Bleach Ball's website, podcast, Instagram, and Twitter. We have a link to the playlist with all the prospect pipelines that we will do this year. Last week was the Red Sox. This week was the Yankees. Next week, we will start going team by team. We'll be doing one prospect pipeline for all 30 teams. We will start next week covering Cincinnati Reds top prospect, Ellie De La Cruz. So make sure to stay tuned for that one. For Kassem, my name is Derrik. Thanks for tuning into this New York Yankees prospect pipeline, and we'll see you next time.